That was Blackbird by John Lennon and Paul McCartney of the Beatles. That was played by Paul McCartney on the guitar. And his style of finger picking is a little bit different from what I'm going to do today, but I'll get into that a little later on, exactly how he did the finger picking. But right now I'm going to show you step by step how to play Blackbird. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to put your third finger on the third fret of the sixth string, which is a G note, and that note you're going to play with your thumb on the right hand. Okay, now at the same time, what you're going to do is with the third finger on the right hand, the M finger, the middle finger, we call it the M finger, you're going to play the second string open. So the only note that we're fingering is this third finger on the sixth string. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the thumb and third finger and squeeze when we play that. And after we do that, we're going to go to the I finger, which stands for index, and we're going to play the third string open. So we're playing the thumb and middle finger together, and then the I, the index finger, by itself. So watch it. Watch this once again. Okay, now that's finger picking pattern number 1. Very important. Once again. Now that finger picking pattern is going to be used throughout the whole song. This pattern and one more pattern that we'll get to in a minute. So once again. Alright, now we're going to develop it and bring the thumb after that to the fifth string. And the first finger on the second string, first fret. That's the C note. So we're going to the open A string, the fifth string, and we're going to your first finger on the first fret of the second string. And we're going to do exactly the same thing. We're going to pluck the thumb on the fifth string, the third finger on the second string together. And then we're going to alternate once again back to the I, the index finger, on the open third string. So that's the second pattern of the song. Okay, I'll play both of them now. You got that? Once again. Okay, staying with picking pattern number 1 for the right hand. Okay, the next part we're going to go up to, again, the thumb on the fifth string, but I'm going to put my second finger on the second fret of the fifth string for my thumb. Okay, and then what I'm going to do also is go up to the third fret on the second string. And that's a D note. And we're going to do exactly the same picking pattern once again. Okay, so all three will be once again. So there's the first figure. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to break this song into a number of different figures. A figure is going to be a little group of notes. It makes it easier for everybody to organize the song because a lot of this song repeats. So if I say later on in the song we're going back to figure number 1 or figure number 4, you'll know what I'm talking about. And also in your mind it makes it much easier to learn the song because a lot of it does repeat. So once again, the first figure, figure number 1 would be okay. A couple things to remember. We're using the thumb and middle finger playing at the same time, striking the strings at the same time. And then we're alternating back to the I, the index finger, on the third string. Now let me mention this to make it a little bit easier for you. Very, very important point. The I, the index finger, is always going to play the third string open. So when you alternate to that I index finger, which happens throughout the whole song, you're always going to go to that same string using the same finger. And I know when I learned this song, when somebody told me that, I said, wow, that's great. It makes it so much easier for me to learn the song now. And it makes it easier for me to tell if I'm playing something wrong. So once again, the first figure will be. Okay, now if we're counting, the rhythm will be eighth notes. It will be 1 and 2 and 3 and. Now on the third beat, I'm not alternating back to the I finger. We're just leaving that out. So the last note in that sequence is a quarter note, just one beat. So the count once again is 1 and 2 and 3 and. We're saying 3 and, but I'm not playing that open third string on and. Okay? And one more thing to note. The first measure, which is figure number 1 of the song, is in 3/4 time. 3 beats in a measure. So it's going to be 1 and 2 and 3 and. And that's how the song starts. So figure number 1 will always be in 3/4 time. 3 beats in a measure. Okay, moving on. We're going to go to figure number 2, which comes after figure number 1. Now I'm going to travel all the way down to the 10th fret on the 5th string with my first finger. And on the 2nd string, I'm going to go to the 12th fret with my 3rd finger. Now that would seem logical to use your 1st and 3rd finger for this kind of spacing, but I'm going to use my pinky here. Okay, so I'm using my 1st finger on the 10th fret on the 5th string, and I'm using my pinky on the 12th fret of the 2nd string. Now the reason why I'm doing that type of stretch, it's much easier to keep my fingers and my hand in good hand position, because when we finger pick, we're constantly going back to that 3rd string open. Sometimes if I use this 3rd finger, it tends to not give me enough room to clear those open strings. Okay. Some people like to play with the 3rd finger. If it works for you and it sounds clear all the time, use your 3rd finger. But I like to use the pinky, 1st and pinky when I go to there. So I'm going to do the same picking pattern. I'm going to play the thumb on the 5th string, 3rd finger on the 2nd string, and alternate back to the 3rd string open using the index finger. Okay. Now this is going to be the start of the 2nd picking pattern for this song, meaning the picking pattern for the right hand, plucking pattern.